Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the next video of Learning Branded. It's Jari here again from Team Eclipse. I was actually going to do some talks on how locals went, but at locals I forgot my side deck, so I wasn't comfortable playing without a side deck, so I just played my yummy deck, which I did bring with me. It went pretty well, but I'm not going to go really deep into that because it's all about branded. So for today, I'm going to do a couple of test hands and just see like what combos I can do, and I'd really like to hear in the comments what if I make misplays, if there's better options, if there's better sequences to the combos. So I'm just going to shuffle up my deck here, just take 5 cards, and I'm just going to play. Just going to try to see what kind of boards I can make and if I can get the grand gesture of things. So let's cut it once. Here's my extra deck here. So first get the Fallen and Virtuous, Droplet, 1 Albaz, 1 Opening, and 1 Rahu. So this is pretty interesting. I would actually, I would think I would start with the Rahu, just to try to bait some hand traps, and see what happens, because the opening can get me to the Branded Fusion, and I'd like to bait some hand traps before going to Branded Fusion. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So the Rahu uses 1 card from hand. I'll just use the Albaz, of course, the monster from hand. Sending 1 Dracotail card, which like I can send the Lucius, I suppose, and then you make your Arthelion, then chainlink 1. I think Arthelion to Lucius. Then I'll set the Ketu and the Arthelion target Lucius, so adding the Lucius to hand and setting the Ketu. Like, if this is the wrong sequence, or if I should send other cards or do chainlinks a different way, let me know. I'm learning this deck, and there's like a lot of different ways of playing it, so I'm not used to the most optimal lines. So from here you can, I would normal summon a Lucius, use its effect, and actually add the 5 mana to hand. So to hand. The Ketu, my first thought is to grab the Urgula, because then I can use the 5 mana, use the Urgula and the Lucius to make the Gulamel. Then the chainlinks 1 is just the Urgula, I believe. Yeah, just Urgula. It will set the flame. It's the only trap I play in the main deck. So I'll set the flame. Then I could use the Urgula, put it on the bottom, and add back the 5 mana, so you have it for the next turn. So this is like the Dracotail part, and then use the opening. I think I might just discard the Droplet here to summon the Aluber. Then the Aluber effect to add Branded Fusion. Like, of course, in a real-time scenario, you will get hand-trapped anywhere, so you have to adjust your plays. But it's good to practice like this if you're not that familiar with the deck, so you can just learn some lines. Activate the Branded Fusion, of course. Yep, sending the Albaz. Now there's 2 Albaz in my grave, but it's fine. It's nice to have 1 in grave for setup. I'll send the Lebellion. I'm just going for the standard play. Yeah. Make Albion the Branded Dragon. Then the effect of Albion, I'll banish the Aluber, and I'll banish the Albas. Let's banish the one that was first in grave. Here I can make Lubellion. The thing is that I have to discard one from hand now, so maybe that's like there's better ways to fuse, maybe not make the Lubellion and just straight away go for Mirror Jade could have been a play. But I think this is fine. You have to sacrifice or the quick play or the 5 mana, and I think I'm going to sacrifice my 5 mana for this. I'm going to shuffle back my Albas, of course, and I'm going to shuffle back the Lubellion to make the Mirror Jade. And then I'm going to summon out the Lubellion by tributing the Albion, then use the effect, and then of course it will place face up the Branded Lost. Even though you lost the 5 mana this turn, it's I think it's not that bad. You have to choose sometimes, and I think keeping the Fallen and the Virtuous and getting the Branded in red as well is something I'd like to do. Yeah, so my graveyard, I have the Albion in graveyard. I'd like to have the Titanic Clad in graveyard. I'm going to use my Mirror Jade's effect to banish the Lubellion. First you send for cost, of course, and the Titanic Lad. You set the Fallen and the Virtuous. I'm not going to trigger Quem this turn. I'm going to play it patiently. That's what I learned. When I first tried some test hands, when I just got the deck a couple of weeks ago, I used to use the Fallen and the Virtuous in the end phase to trigger Quem, bring back the Cartesia, but it's I believe it's fine to just keep it for the next turn. It's better in some scenarios. Then we go to the end phase. We use the Titanic Clad to summon the Quem. Of course, it's on the top of the deck. Yeah. Then the Quem effect to send the Cartesia. Then we use the Albion to grab the Branded in red. I'm going to set it for now. So I'm not going to add it to hand, but I'm going to set the red. And I'm going to use Cartesia to add it to hand. For the discard, if you make Lubellion, it's important. And you have the Branded Opening engraved, which is nice if you need to protect your fusion from destruction. So this is the end board I ended on with that hand. I'm really curious what you guys would have made. Are there any better plays I could have done, or yeah, I could have played more around keeping the 5 mana or starting with opening. But I think it's nice to bait some hand traps and then go into the Branded Fusion lines, because then you have higher chances of it resolving. So in the next turn you can of course use this to send a Rinbrum. You can use red to fusion. You can make a Lubellion, and you have to discard of Cartesia, and then you can summon a Cartesia with Quem. You have the flame, so you get if it resolves, you get a nice an extra draw, and you get to negate a spell. If you manage to fuse your Mirror Jade away or send it away, you could also trigger your Quem's summoning the Mirror Jade, or if you make Albion, you can do some plays with that. So it all depends on what your opponent does in the next turn. But I think this is pretty solid of an end board. You have a lot of resources in your graveyard. You have the red, you have the Fallen and the Virtuous. You have Lost still. You can also add something from Lost. Yeah, this was the first hand. Let's get to the next hand and test it. Alright, let's shuffle the deck up once again. I'm going to show this in front of the camera, so it's not rigged. It's actually shuffled. Like, the deck never gets boring because every hand and every line is different, and that's what's really exciting about the branded deck. Alright, let's see. An Albas again. Branded in red. Quem. Frixel. And opening. So the opening is it's really nice. I actually managed to grab the opening on the 5th draw. Let's see. So you could normal summon Quem to try to bait an Imperm or anything. Maybe that's the right way, I might think. Yeah, let's just try it. I'm going to normal summon the Quem and send Cartesia. It's like a line you don't do really often, I believe, because you only run one Quem in your deck, not in your side deck as well. And then with the Quem, like I'm just going to use opening. I have normal summon already, so I'm going to use the Albas, and then summon the Aluber. Then I'll use the effective Aluber to grab myself the branded fusion, of course. Here it is. So like the Albus is in my grave, so I also have branded in red as a backup play if they banish my or negate my fusion. So that's nice. Branded fusion, sending Albus. And then like I want the branded loss setup, so I'm just going to send Lubellion. I'll make Albion. Then we have the trigger of Albion and the trigger of Quem. That's actually kind of nice that you get to trigger your Quem now and summon back your Cartesia. So I'm going to use Chailing 1-2, so summon the Cartesia, and then I'll banish my Aluber and the one Albas engrave to make the Lubellion standard line. Let me think. I think it's just going to be the same, the Mirror Jade right now. Like you could get creative, but I think this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to use Lubellion. I'll discard the Frixel because it uses in hand at the moment. So for back the Albas and the Lubellion. Make Mirror Jade. So we have Lubellion. We can use the Lubellion to summon itself back, using the effect to set up Branded Lost. So right here, there's something bad. You can use your Cartesia, using Lubellion and the Cartesia to make the Grangwing Knoll. And use the Grangwing Knoll effect. I think you just send the Titanic Lad because you get to keep your Mirror Jade Banish live now for the next turn. So you don't have to resummon it immediately. Also your Lost triggers, so you go Chilling 1, Grangwing Knoll 2 Lost. Then with Lost you can could either add Albion, I think, or you can add your Mercurier. But I think you might want to add Albion first, even though you do have an Albas engraved, so you don't need to dump an Albas. You could just use the Albion to send Retribution, draw 1, then banish Retribution, add Fusion back, and you get to draw 1. So I think that's better for now. I'm going to use, that's a bit more greedy, but you get to add Mercurial of Lost in the next turn if you play it right. You have the red, so you have the guaranteed Fusion summon. Well, it's not 100% guaranteed always, but it's there. So yeah, we add the Albion. Then we send the Titanic clad with Gramignol. Going to activate the Albion. Send Retribution. Going to put it on the bottom of the deck. Going to shuffle it a couple of times. Another branded fusion. Well, it's a free discard at least. Yeah, so you already have the Quem. So with Albion you can or with Titanic clad you can special summon or add to hand, so you might add to hand this time because you already have the Quem. The Albion will set the Fallen and the Virtuous. Let's see, we set the branded in red. We go to the end phase. I think I'm not going to activate red. I could actually... I might have to, in the main phase, still use red. Then add the Albas. Let me think here, because I can use the Albas and I can set the red back with Retribution, so that might be pretty good. Could even make Rindrum if I want. Or just make Albion. The Sanctifier Dragon. Like if you main deck the lock, you could have locked your opponent right here. Yeah, for the experiment, let's just do it. We're going to banish the Albas. It does mean I don't have the Albas engraved anymore. But it might not be a problem because I do have branded lost. Well, you might be overcooking if you do it this way. So let's just set the branded in red. So this will return to the graveyard. It's in the grave. You go to the end phase. You're going to activate Titanic clad, adding yourself the just the Fallen of Albas, and then you will activate your Albion, the branded dragon. Just set a Fallen and a Virtuous. Then you can use your Cartesia to add it to hand if you want. You don't have 5 mana. You have the red. You might even might just not get the Cartesia to hand because you don't need to discard. You only need to discard for Rebellion and for Albas. And you can still use your Retribution to add back the branded fusion. And you have multiple ways of getting Rindrum in your grave, and you have branded in red. So this might be the play. Not to overcook, not to overextend, just make this. Just keep it like this. Keep your Cartesia in the graveyard so you can summon it back with Quem if you need to. So we can make some different fusions that way. You could even use it to make one of the Albas fusions because you have an Albas in hand, so that's pretty strong. So I think this will be the end board for this hand. Yeah. It feels like it had maybe it had a lot more potential to play it out like a bit more. You could activate the branded in red, or maybe sequence it a little bit differently. But you have the setup. You have your Mirror Jade, which didn't banish this turn. You have your Kremlin Field. You managed to get the 2 fusions engraved. You have the Albal setup. You have the Cartesia. Well, you have 2 branded fusions, and if you don't have to discard one of them, you have to follow up for next turn, which is really nice. Next to the red Virtus Lost. So it's not a bad hand board. It just I'm curious what a branded master would do with that hand, and how it would change, and how the lines would be different.